with Bitcoin, everything is transparent. And so we can learn a lot by looking at the data. Now, the best data for adoption, like we discussed before, it's addresses. Now, it's not a perfect measure of adoption because, we don't know every single Bitcoiner. Actually, is a good thing. It's not like you write down your name, I bought Bitcoin this much, etc. this day. That kind of information is not available. But the addresses themselves are a measure of the activity of a network. Actually, probably even better because, we like to think about Bitcoiners, joining the network, but it's really how active the network is, right? And addresses are a good measure for that. So in a network, remember the nodes are the individual components, right? And then there are these things called links that are how these individual components interconnect with each other, how they communicate with each other. So there are two elements, the nodes and the links. Now, people have done a lot of studies on how networks grow, or in particular social networks, where human beings are involved and interchange information. So I have this article here. This article is an article mostly from Chinese scholars, and this article, in fact, was all about showing that S curves do not apply to social networks. And maybe we want to do one step backward and explain what S curve is. So an S curve, and many people use this idea, and there is one reason why they use it all the time, and I will tell you in one moment why they use it. Not just because technology seems to follow this pattern of growth, but because many influencers want to arrive to a particular statement, and the statement is this, or a particular punchline, right? The punchline is they want this very fast growth. They basically are saying that we are early in the adoption cycle. So basically, okay, let's start from the beginning. So many technology follow this pattern. Basically, see, there are two different graphs here that we are comparing. One is what is called a distribution, that is the blue line. And basically, it's kind of like height. Now imagine you have a population, you have some people that are very tall, some people that are very short, and most people are in the middle, right? And you have this famous curve that is called the bell curve, right? Because it looks like a bell. The technical name is called a Gaussian. Scientists call a Gaussian or normal distribution. But basically, it's anytime you have some kind of random phenomena where you have some kind of average, and then as you go away from the average, you're going to have less and less people in both directions, right? So in this case, we are talking about people adopting some kind of technology, like cell phones, refrigerators, and people have shown this applies to many of these technology. We have online, you can find graphs where you can show that the refrigerators, all the time. And the reason why you get this S curve, so this S curve is the result of this blue curve. They are related to each other. In fact, I explain exactly how they are related. As we get, so in the beginning, right, of this phenomena, imagine you have a refrigerator, television, etc. You will have few people, usually rich people, because in the beginning these technologies are very expensive. Or rich people, maybe with Bitcoin, people that are innovators, people that are maybe in technology, a lot of people that were kind of computer scientists. They understood Bitcoin from that point of view, right? So there are few. And with time, they grow. They have an early adopter, early majority. And when you arrive to that point, basically that is the average, right? So most people join at this point. That is what the average means, is the most likely value when you have this kind of distribution. And this is when the majority joins. And then over time, because we are running out of people that can adopt the technology, right? Because we have a finite population, not necessarily in the world, but people that will be interested in that technology or we have the means to buy it, but they go down and they start to be less and less because basically almost everybody else has this technology, and so it's going to be a smaller number. And if a yellow curve represents the total, right? Imagine I'm running a total sum of all these people, right? How many I have. And you can see in the beginning, this curve grows, and it grows in an exponential fashion. And then it goes faster and faster. And by the time when everybody joins, when we have this majority of people joining, there is a sudden change. And here is a relatively gentle growth, but it depends how narrow this distribution is. Like if there is a sudden change, right, when we reach that late majority, when the majority of people joins, this curve can be quite steep. And this is what most influencers like, because they want basically to make an argument that, oh, don't worry, right now, we have grown 100 million times. That is crazy, but we will grow even faster when everybody else joins, right? So we are early and very big, they say slowly, then suddenly, right? It's not how Bitcoin works. Absolutely not. How Bitcoin works is like this. Bitcoin growth, it's a power law. It's not an exponential, it's not an S curve. There is not this S curve. I don't know where they want it to be there because they wanted to push this narrative, but it's not. Bitcoin doesn't work like that. Bitcoin works like a power law. And a power law doesn't have a characteristic time. It doesn't have this sudden moment. It does the same thing. It does this scaling behavior the same scaling behavior that you see in price. You also see it in adoption. It works where the scale of time and the scale of adoption, how many people join the network, grow proportionally in time in terms of scale. And so there is no one place. You see how almost a perfect straight line. This is how addresses are growing. There is no one place where you say, oh, here there is this place where all of a sudden the price goes up, right? Or the adoption goes up. There is no. And not because we are early, and so some people say, but it doesn't mean that maybe we are early and we are saying just at the first moment of the growth. No, because if that was the case, we will not see a power law. We will see an exponential. We will see an exponential from the beginning, and it's not true like British Hodl and other people say, oh, many things start like a. I don't know where they took that. No, if something is an exponential, it's going to be an exponential. If at least something is an S curve, you will see the S curve behavior. We see a power law behavior. And there's been a power law over many order of magnitude. Something doesn't change over many order of magnitude, being a power law, and then it becomes an exponential. No, the reality is there is no an S curve. I don't know how to repeat it. Show me anybody that mentioned S curve. Show me the damn S curve. Show me the evidence for the S curve. I'm showing evidence that is a power law. I don't know how to explain it to you. It's a power law. There is no such a thing. So actually, the beauty of it is we don't need that. You see, we don't need that sudden moment. All what we need is Bitcoin doing what it has done all this time. It's actually a more beautiful message, more interesting message, that all what Bitcoin needs to do to go where it needs to go, that is $10 million, is for Bitcoin to do what has done all this time, and has done it so regularly and in such predictable manner. I don't know why people don't like this message. The only reason is that in their mind, they will want Bitcoin to explode to $5 million in 2 years from now, in 1 year from now, tomorrow. That is the only reason. Otherwise, this will be super popular. Everybody will talk about this all the time. The only reason it's not is that there are some people that don't have it. I don't know why they're even in Bitcoin at that point. Maybe they need time to learn, but it's all about slow preference time. And it's not slow. If we are talking about $10 million in 20 years, there is nothing slow about that. And so there was telling you before, you will say, what? Why the power law? Because it's a social network, and it's very interesting that people have done work and this is what I was showing you before, that graph. Let me find it again.
While you're looking for that, Gio, is that the difference? So the technologies, those do grow at an S curve, but you're saying Bitcoin doesn't, correct?
Correct. Because yes, Bitcoin is a technology, but even more is a social network. Okay, the technology, it depends on basically the idea is what is dominant, right? Is dominant the fact that is a, and we can discuss in a moment. What is the dominating factor? What is more dominant? The fact that Bitcoin is a social network, or the fact that is a technology? Yes, it's a technology, but it's a secondary principle.
What you're saying is the dominating factor is not, with Bitcoin, is not necessarily the price someone is paying at the margin, a la the scarcity finite thing we've been talking about of, hey, if it all goes into hiding and everyone just goes away and won't sell at any price. And that's where you're saying, well, that's ridiculous. It's more to do with Metcalfe's law and the square root of the users of the network, a social network, versus what someone's willing to pay at the margins. Is that what you're saying? Basically, it's a different, the dominating factor is, no, it's the Metcalfe's law, in essence. It's the square root of the users.
If you want the answer to that question right there and you like that spicy clip, check it out here. Come on, we'll see you in there. But if you want the full interview in its entirety, all the spicy clips put together, and you're not going to want to miss it, believe me, then check that out here. Come on, we'll see you in there. Do it.